The bad: 0 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie worth a half a point. The Jacksonville Jaguars +1, a loss. Bad pick. The Jets -3 lost to the then winless Miami Dolphins. Another bad pick. Now let's get some ugly in here. The Minnesota Vikings +2.5 at the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, the game is tied late, and the Vikes D decides to turn into those soldiers surrendering to the helicopters in the Gulf War. Yes, in retrospect, I did make one critical error in this selection. Okay, not getting the full 3 points to get a push in case this happened. I get what I deserve with that pick. More ugly: the Titans +3.5 at the Carolina Panthers. Okay, the Panthers put a decisive beatdown on this overrated Titans defense. Okay, this Titans defense which has not given up more than 23 points at any time in the season, had surrendered 30 to the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers missed a 2-point conversion, or they gave up 32. Okay, but they gave up 30 this game, and the Panthers scoring the 30. Yet the Tennessee Titans were moving the ball with 2 minutes to go in this game, down 10 points, needing 2 scores, a touchdown and a field goal. Looks like they were going to go score the touchdown, score the 7, giving us a half-point, razor-thin edge victory, a win. But no, the coach decides to kick the field goal first with 50 seconds left, then try the onside kick to see if they can get the touchdown to send the game in overtime. Okay, but there's one huge, horrible problem with this stupid strategy that I'm seeing coaches doing more and more. What if you miss that first field goal? Then what? You have no chance to tie the game up. The Rams did this the last year's Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. The Titans just did this too. Imagine all those TVs on, and of course there's no sound because there's too many TVs and the crowd's chattering it away in the sports book. So, but there was a couple of games they actually had the closed caption on, and I'm reading this and I'm watching the commentators saying, "Oh, the coach is going to kick the field goal," and I thought, how does he know what they're going to do? What an unpleasant experience that was. Titans quarterback Tannehill got the Titans close. I was in disbelief reading those TV closed captions from the commentators. It was disgusting, to say the least. To me, that's another bad beat, but it happens in this business. It sure seemed like the TV guys were saying, I quote, "Remington has the Titans +3.5. Try the field goal to lose by 7 instead of the 3. Now for the super duper ugly, we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers +6 at Seattle. Started out great. Jameis Winston they kind of teams up by 13 by the middle of the second quarter. They moved the ball every time they got the ball. They were either scoring touchdown or kicking field goals. But the wheels come falling off in the fourth quarter with MVP Russell Wilson of Seattle just running right through them. He destroyed them in the second half. Then the Bucs got this paper-thin air defense. But the Bucs get the ball back and tie the game with 45 seconds to go. And it sure looked like a winner. At least overtime. And yet Russell Wilson gets the Seahawks in field goal range with 3 seconds left. And it was a 31-yard attempt. I was praying that they could make this field goal so we could book this one win to go 1-4. But no, wide to the right. Missed the field goal. No problem. Overtime's coming up. The Bucs could still win the game outright. The Seattle could be held to a field goal, or the game could end in a tie. Okay, 3 good things could happen for us, and only one bad thing could happen for us not to get a win here. That's the Seahawks score a touchdown. Guess what? On the 12-yard line, instead of running up to get set up for the field goal, Russell Wilson throws a 12-yard touchdown pass, and they don't try the extra point in overtime. We get our push. We get our half point. So, you want to talk about ugly, but that is so ugly. So, and people keep saying to me, well, you won games like that. No, I don't recall winning a game like this. 0 wins, 4 losses, 1 tie. Not good. Worst week yet. This week we will bounce back and finish strong. Game number 1. We're going to take the Titans again, plus 3.5. They're hosting as a home doggy against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Titans need to win badly to get close to 500. The Andy Reid's team got a hard-fought win against hosting the Minnesota Vikings, who I feel was a Super Bowl contender and a legitimate threat to win it all. And yes, Patrick Mahomes might play. Okay, we won't know until game time. So this line's been all over the place, and we can only go by what the Westgate puts out. So, but if Mahomes plays, how can he be effective? Now, Tannehill for the Titans is actually playing pretty good. Good enough to move the ball on this bad defense. And the Chiefs are not known for its defense right now. The Chiefs might be accelerating a bit because they had the hard-fought win against the Vikings. Don't think that the Titans coach didn't watch that tape against how Kansas City beat this great Minnesota team. So they were constantly blitzing on the Vikings' statuesque quarterback, Kirk Cousins. So I'm liking to think that the coach is going to tell Tannehill, don't be standing like a statue, throw the ball. Game number 2. We are taking a favorite here. We're taking the Saints minus 13 against the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are 1 win, 7 losses. The Saints are 7 wins, 1 loss. Saints haven't really set up anything yet, but they're getting really close. I believe if they win 2 more games, they get at least a wild card. They're playing solid offense, solid defense, and solid special teams. Atlanta Falcons, they need to finish 8-0 the rest of the season to maybe qualify as a wild card 6th seed with a 9-7 record. I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for that to happen. So, in other words, forget about it. Rumors abound about coaches and their staff. They're faxing resumes and letters of intent. And technically, you're not supposed to do this until the regular season is over, but you know and I know, and the world knows that they skirt this somehow. They have their little ways. They get their wives talking to other coaches' girlfriends or whatever. They have their ways. And the Saints head coach Sean Payton won't let his team fall asleep here. Okay, so lay the chalk. I know 13 is a lot of chalk, but I think the Saints are going to do it. Game number 3. We're taking the Panthers plus 5.5 at Green Bay Packers. I know this looks like a bad spot for the Panthers, a road team, and they just come off a big win at home against the Titans. The Packers need a bounce back win. They were on the sidelines against the Chargers most of last week's game, and the Packers have been known to bounce back, and they're playing at Lambeau, a pretty good place for them. I'm looking for the Panthers to run the ball. I'm looking for the Panthers to do the same thing what they saw the Chargers do to Aaron Rodgers last week and put him on the sideline and chew up the clock. Veteran head coach Ron Rivera has got to be able to see this formula. We're going to take the Carolina Panthers plus the 5.5, and a ton of people are on the Pack. So I like that. That's in their favor. Game number 4. We are trying the Vikings one last time. Except this time we're getting 3 full points. So the Vikings kind of are in the spot where they actually need a win here. Cowboys need a win too to stay pace with the other teams trying to get a bye. Dallas is in first place in the NFC East. Minnesota's chasing the Green Bay Packers. And so I think head coach Mike Zimmer of the Vikings is going to ramp up his more than capable defense, and I think they're going to throttle the Dallas Cowboys' short intermediate passing game. So, but we're getting the full field goal instead of this 2.5 like we did last week. Game number 5. We're taking another favorite. We're taking Monday Night Football. The San Francisco 49ers minus 6.5 hosting the Seattle Seahawks. The 49ers are very for real. They're the only undefeated team in the NFL this season so far. The 49ers got a scare last Thursday with the Arizona Cardinals. Had the game in hand 28-10. And Arizona scored the last 15 points, 13 points. They had an 88-yard touchdown pass with like 3 minutes left to do a backdoor cover, which hurt our other pool, our Ironman Subby pool. And most people are all over the Seattle Seahawks to cover this game. They feel it's 6.5 and they're waiting for 49ers to lose the game. And the old saying keeps popping up, no horse dies in May, and she usually dies at home. So there's some truth to that. But I think the 49ers are going to. They got their scare last. They got the wake up call last week against the Cardinals. Shanahan's going to have his team ready to play, and they know they need to beat Seattle to get very comfortable in this very competitive NFC West. We're recapping really quick. The Tennessee Titans plus 3.5. They take the New Orleans Saints minus 13 hosting the Falcons. We're going to take the Carolina Panthers plus 5 at the Green Bay Packers. We're going to take the Minnesota Vikings plus 3. They're at the Dallas Cowboys. Home team, a favorite. We're taking the 49ers minus 6.5. We'll talk about the board for a bit. Last week, you can see the home teams were 11 wins and 3 losses. And I've been telling everybody in the other videos that this early season play by the home teams not measuring up was going to reverse itself, and it has. 6 weeks ago in regular season, I'm looking for the home teams to finish at a 8-5 clip or 9-4, something like that. The dogs, almost 500 last week. There was 7 favorites, 600 dogs, and the 1 push with this Bucks plus 6 at Seattle. Ironically, it's only the 2nd push this year on the spread. By week 10, by week 9, we usually have 5, 6, sometimes 10. We've only had 2 this year. Like I said, the sportsbook's job is not to pick the games, is to get the balance of books and balance the action. They're to protect themselves. Now that we call it the board, I'm going to talk about one last thing for week 9. The top 5, and I'll put this up here. The top 5 teams that were picked last week, the first 4 lost outright. Went the 5th game, which was the Bucks. They had to push. If you were a contrarian bettor, you did very well last week. In closing this video, I almost don't know how to say it. I was going to put the bag over my head. 0-4-1. Horrible week, but we're going to bounce back. I like our picks. I've really put a lot of work into it. I've really thought about it. I like the favorites for sure, but the favorites were laying some chalk. That makes these games a coin flip when laying big chalk like that. But I got great teams. I got the Saints and I got the 49ers. I got the best 2 teams in the NFC as the favorites for 2 of my 5 picks. I mean, you got to like that. Seattle, I'm going to talk a little bit about Seattle really quick. Seattle's good, but you know what? I think the 49ers are just playing better. I think that they can just control Russell Wilson, and you got to remember they face him twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year in playoffs, and if they scrimmage for preseason, they face him 4 times a year at times. Now the 49ers won late in 2018 last year, but Seattle had won the previous 4 games. It can be argued that Seahawks have their number, and Pete Carroll's a very good coach too. He's got the experience over Shanahan for sure in the coaching department, but I think the talent's there on the 49ers. And they got a decent pass rush, which Russ Wilson hasn't faced that many teams with a good pass rush yet. The ingredients are there for a 49er demolition of Seattle. What does scare me about this game is that Seattle has played well on the road. They struggle at home. That's why so many tickets are coming in on Seahawks, and they know Seattle plays, for some reason they play well at home. So they're one of those teams this year they just play well on the road. A ton of tickets are coming in on the Cleveland Browns. It's the Cleveland Browns, a 2-6 team, is favored. They're favored by Cleveland Browns are favored by a full field goal over the Buffalo Bills, which is a 6-2 team. I can't remember the last time it's ever happened, and there's so many strange things with that game. We decided to pass on that game. Cleveland is winless at home, and Buffalo is unbeaten on the road. I mean, something's got to give here. I just don't like the point spread. I think the wrong team is favored. My numbers has Bills minus 2.5. I smell a rat. So I'm trying to stay away from the trap games. Really quick, the Giants versus Jets, 2 crap teams. I learned my lesson from betting the Jets last week against the Dolphins. There's better games to pick than this. The Ravens and the Bengals. We looked at the Bengals taking the plus 10 at home, and Ravens coming off a big, gigantic win, probably the biggest win of their season, at hosting New England last week. Put a total beatdown on them, especially the second half. But the Bengals starting this Finley, this rookie quarterback, and I can't trust that. I haven't seen him play. I know they don't have any tape on him, which would give us an advantage. But that's why we passed that game. If Dalton plays, I don't think the line's going to be 10. I think the line is 7.5 or 8. We take the Bengals, but Dalton's not playing. They're making a mistake by benching Dalton. Dalton's not the problem. So again, Cincinnati doesn't have that winning mentality. The Bears and the Lions, 2 teams are fading. They're trying to race to the bottom, outsink the Titanic. That's a game we're not interested in. Colts minus 10 at the Dolphins. Dolphins have covered 5 games in a row, and they finally won one last week. Colts are starting Hoyer. He was the understudy for Tom Brady twice. First stint was, 4 years, and the second stint, 3 years. He's a good quarterback. And he's behind Matt Moore of the Chiefs. I think I got Hoyer as a top 5 backup quarterback on the NFL. He can start anywhere else.